What is going on, YouTube? Today I have an awesome video for you guys. Today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the Apple Airpods Pro as an Android user. So if you guys have followed my channel for any amount of time, you will know that the king of buds are the Bang & Olufsen, at least in my opinion. And if you check out other YouTubers as well, this is something that is kind of shared with a lot of us. Flossie Carter, for example, these are always his number one in his earbud little lineup. And the reason for that simply is because of the pure amount of sound quality that comes out of these bad boys. Now, if you guys do want to see a comparison between the Bang & Olufsen and the AirPods Pro, just let me know in the comments down below and what you would like to know between the two of these. Just know that when I am giving my opinion, not only am I referencing the Bang & Olufsen, my old daily drivers, but I'm also kind of talking about almost every earbud that I've had on this channel. That goes for all the Sony buds, all of the Samsung buds, the Jabras. I don't know if I posted videos on those, but long story short, I've really tried almost every kind of bud that's worth its weight out there. So I won't go too much into the Bang & Olufsen comparison in this video. Like I said, if you do want to see a comparison between these two bad Larrys, then leave a sub and I'll be sure to get on that. So first things first is, if this is your first time dropping in on this channel, I have been primarily an Android user for like the past 4 years since the iPhone 10, but to give this a fair shot, the whole iPhone Apple ecosystem thing, I got the iPhone 15 Pro Max, AirPods Pro with USB Type-C, and the Apple Watch Ultra 2. So if you guys want to see videos on those, you know the thing. Leave a sub. All right, without further ado, let's get into this. So before I tell you everything that I've enjoyed with these, I'm gonna go over some cons. All right, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the cons list surprisingly is quite low. So when I get earbuds, the number one thing that I think about when I try them out is overall the sound quality. Now, I don't know if I'd consider myself an audiophile per se, but I like to play a little music, you know, guitar. I used to produce and all that, so sound quality is something that is very important to me. And one thing that I cannot stand about Apple is the fact that they just think that they know what's right for you at all times. Now, what I mean by that is, here is your, I guess, AirPods app. Okay, now usually when you get a pair of any other earbuds, Sony's, Bose, what have you, you know, it comes with the dedicated app, but here, this is what you get in the settings pane. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the amount of settings and all that, like the features, if you will, is actually quite robust, and I really do think that every one of these features is pretty legit. But the number one feature for sound, you know, like a hearing device, you know, a device that you put in your ear holes to experience music that you enjoy. If you don't know what I'm getting at here, the fact that there's no EQ in this application or setting is just kind of beyond me. Like, I cannot understand why there is no application. So this is my number one gripe with these earbuds, is that there's no EQ. And if you're anything like me and you follow subreddits for certain tech products because you're a nerd, you'll see that these buds automatically update when they're charging and when they are by your phone. So what that means is the firmware version currently on 6B34, this updates like automatically. And there is a history of people saying that as you update your buds, or as they get updated, the sound profile changes. Sometimes there's more bass, sometimes there's less bass, sometimes the trebles get fluctuated. All that tells me is that there is the possibility of actually changing the sound profile of this device. I listened primarily to Spotify. So I had to go into the playback application and go into Spotify's EQ and try and fiddle with it to get more out of the buds. And this actually did make a huge difference. So if you are making the change from Android to Apple and you want to get the most out of the sound of your buds, or if you just didn't know that this is a thing, here you go. Highly recommend doing this. So one thing that I found out on my little nerd subreddit as well is that if you go into accessibility down here, and then you go to audio accessibility settings, and then you go to headphone accommodations, here you can download an application to take an audiogram, apply that audiogram onto your AirPods Pro, and it'll change the sound signature of the AirPods to better suit your ear holes. So this is an amazing feature, don't get me wrong, but like, how's the average person gonna find this out? Like, you really need to nerd out in order to figure out that this is even a thing. So it is cool that it is there, don't get me wrong, but I just think that that should be better branded or something. Alright, so that was very long-winded to say that my first gripe is no EQ, but second gripe is going to be no advanced codec. Now, you may be wondering what I'm talking about codecs. Here is my Note device. Here you can see SBC and AAC. Now this is all that the AirPods are capable of. The wild thing is even the AirPods Max, the like $500 like headphones, are only capable, I believe they automatically go to AAC. Now, if you're not too familiar with what codecs are, it's basically the bit rate. It's like these buds are stuck at shooting 1080p audio quality into your ears, whereas the technology already exists to shoot 4K audio quality into your ears, if that makes any kind of sense. So each one of these codecs is affiliated with like bit rate and things like that. So the fact that there is no anything higher than AAC is kind of bewildering to me when almost every I don't want to say Android bud, but a lot of them are very like Qualcomm aptX adaptive, Sony has ALDAC, and they all have very high resolution codecs compared to the 1080p which you have here. Which I'm also very confused about is that the USB-C AirPods Pro which I have here are going to be lossless capable with Apple Vision Pro, which is kind of confusing because like if they're lossless compatible, like why not have that kind of a feature with like an iPhone? Like, I imagine you're gonna have to connect the cable to the goggles, and that gives you lossless, but the fact that lossless is capable on the chips on these buds already, like, give us something. you know? All right, now that I have all the cons out of the way, let me get into these pros. Long story short, aside from the audio quality, which I would consider a low A tier, every single thing about these earbuds, like quality wise, as far as the features go, is an S tier in my opinion. The transparency mode, the adaptive noise cancellation is honestly on par with the XM5s, the Sony XM5s, which I've reviewed on this channel. So here's another interesting thing. I'm sure you all know this, but as you could see, it's kind of flat on the stem right there. Instead of like pushing right here, like with a touch sensitive thingamajig, you squeeze this bud, like this stem. And when I'm in the gym doing that, it's a very nice tactile feel. Also, swiping up and down for volume is great. Yeah, that's all there is to it. And the only problem I have with that is if I'm running. So if this is in my ear and I'm like going for it and like trying to grab it, and then grabbing it while I'm running kind of dislodges it a little bit. That's kind of my only gripe with the way that Apple decides to utilize their command input, the tactility of it, if you will. And here's another cool thing. Look, if you look at that, the AirPods are smart enough to know like how often I use them to optimize the battery charging in order to keep it below a certain percentage, so the battery health on the buds stays longer, or has a better health over time. That's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna go too much into this, but the fact that these have Find My, the case in and of itself is the most high-tech case of any buds that I've ever had. The Find My in them, where you could use your phone like a little compass to guide you to them, and then they play a sound out of these little sound holes here, has a lanyard hole here. And one thing that you kind of take for granted when you buy niche buds like the Bang & Olufsen is not many people buy these. So when you're getting AirPods Pro, like everyone and their cat has a pair of AirPods, so that means more manufacturers are going to make more accessories for these things, which is why you see this Nomad leather case on this Bad Larry. This just looks so cool and so classy. And then I've always bought ear tips for other buds before, but there's like specifically AirPods Pro branded advertised tips, so you know you're getting that good. Whereas if I'd buy tips for other random buds, I would just have to hope that when they came in, that they fit on the buds. Now, the most important feature of the AirPods Pro is when you have other Apple products, it switches to them seamlessly and works with them seamlessly. Now, I want to dive a little bit more into that. I know it may just sound very surface level saying that off the top, but one of the main reasons I tried this experiment out with just changing everything is because my Garmin, when I would play Spotify and try and go on runs with my Bang & Olufsen's, the whole time it would skip and this and that, what have you, and I would spend more time running and being upset that my music wasn't playing, whereas these and this Apple Watch, it just connects perfectly, and I've had absolutely zero problems with that. And the biggest part about it is, yes, this can connect to my iPhone and to my MacBook and to my watch, but the biggest thing about these is the fact that it can connect to your Apple TV. Now, I know that may not sound like that big of a deal, because you could connect any Bluetooth device to your Apple TV and listen to your show or your movie on that headphones, but when you have an Apple device with a H1, M1, Alumina 1 and above chip, you can connect not one, but two different sets of AirPods, AirPods Pro, Max, Studio, Beats. There's a list on Apple's website But as a father of 2 children who can hear the slightest noise and wake up screaming, being able to finally watch movies and shows with my wife with perfect noise cancellation, with a little, camera baby monitor on the side that I peek at every now and again and make sure my kids are okay. But to listen to things as loud as we want them with separate volume control, that's all I need. At that point, these are unbeatable, in my opinion. Now, if you could make that happen with these, maybe we got a different story. But the fact that I know I could use AirPods Pro with all of my products now, with ease of use, everything just works. Apple TV with my wife watching our shows, both have our AirPods Pros in, #bars. Nothing is better than that, in my opinion, and that makes this Android user an AirPods Pro advocate now. I never thought I would say that, knowing how much better other buds are out there in terms of sound quality, but in terms of features, life quality features that actually make a difference in my day-to-day life, I've never had a better pair of buds than these. I know that was a very long-winded video. If you guys have stuck through to the end, I really appreciate you. Leaving a like, sub, and comment goes a long way in supporting the channel. Just know that next up I have my Apple Watch Ultra video. I'll be throwing in my iPhone video as well, just kind of my thoughts after using these products for a couple of weeks and seeing if switching from Android to iPhone was worth the switch. If you guys are thinking about making the switch and would like to hear my opinion on it, then stick around. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Other than that, I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good one. Peace.